Did you know the FBI believes there are as many as 25 serial killers active at any given time? However, the Murder Accountability Project believes that number to be closer to 2,000. Welcome. I'm Jay.
I'm T.
We are Fatal Blend.
This is where we talk about two things we absolutely love. A little bit of coffee and a lot of true crime. Specifically, serial killers.
Yes, that is what we do. And here we are again.
Yes, we are.
Well, here we are on episode 55.
No, episode 45.
Damn it. And here we are on episode 45.
Yeah.
Which means 5 more episodes closer to a new intro.
Which we have not even talked about yet.
I will get it done. That means I got 5 weeks. 4 weeks.
Not even. Let's see here. Apologies, just real quick, if I sound kind of funky. That's because if you listen to Crime Bitches, you'll hear that I've been under the weather.
Yes, she has.
And since I am the one who does research and the main person who talks, I can't just not be here. So here I am in all the glory of sounding the way that I do. So apologies.
And I also want to throw out, we are flabbergasted, I guess is a good word for it. We are amazed every single time we look at our downloads and we look at where we're being downloaded at and who's listening to us. Man, we can't appreciate you guys enough. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. I know we're not the biggest stars in the world, but it makes us feel good to see people downloading and to see areas that have consistent downloads. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, we're definitely... we've been international for a while, but this last month was really probably the most international downloads we've ever had from multiple different countries. So I love the fact that people from other countries are listening, tuning in, and they like us. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, and even if they're one and done, whatever.
You gave us a shot.
We're not for everybody.
We might not be your cup of tea, but at least you tried, and we appreciate you for that.
But we definitely see some downloads that are consistent in some of these areas, and we would like to think it's not just new people downloading us, but it's return listeners. So if you are one of those return listeners,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've been here from the beginning.
Yep.
So,
and you know what comes next?
That's true.
Murder.
No. Drinking.
Damn it. All right, well, these listeners
Close
probably
enough.
know more than me. So, what are you drinking?
Well, because I'm sick and not feeling too amazing, I am drinking some hot tea with a little bit of honey, and it's just black tea because I think all the other teas are fucking nasty. So that's it.
And I'm drinking a hot apple cider because it's cold outside.
And it smells good. I can smell it.
Yeah, I smell Lysol on the microphone thing.
Yeah, we did Lysol the microphone things because when we first recorded last week, actually, our last episode last week, while we were recording it, we did not realize that I was sick with the flu because the fever hadn't totally taken over yet. So we're in here, huffing and puffing into the microphones. And then we traveled back home, and I didn't know which microphone was which, so we just Lysoled them, because what else are you supposed to do? So.
Yep.
Anyways.
And it's
now.
Murder.
Yes, it is time for murder. Are you ready to know who we're talking about?
That's why I show up to these things.
Okay. So we are talking about Cody Legebokoff.
Ooh, Legebokoff.
Now, he has 4 victims.
Or more.
Just 4.
Ooh.
The murder dates are October 2009 to November 2010. The location is Prince George Vanderhoof Canada.
Vanderberg.
No, not Vanderbeek. His method of murder was blunt force trauma, and characteristics of his murder are rape and sexual assault. Cody was born January 21st, 1990. He was raised in Fort St. James. Now, he literally had a normal childhood. Like, normal childhood. He reportedly actually had a very loving family. He had a lot of friends. He was popular in school. He had a really good relationship with everybody he came in contact with. He had been known to go fishing and hunting with his grandfather. He played ice hockey. He did downhill skiing, tons of other sports. Now, he did get into like minor trouble, but literally like minor trouble like high school students sometimes do. You just kind of get into some shit and you get like a slap on the wrist like, hey, behave yourself type stuff.
Mind your business.
Like that, just little things like that. And then after he graduates from Fort St. James Secondary School, he briefly moves to Lethbridge, Alberta. And then from there, he moves to Prince George, British Columbia. And he actually moves into an apartment with 3 female roommates, and he worked at a Ford dealership. Now, he also would use a Canadian social networking site called Encyclopedia, and his handle was One Country Boy.
Get her done.
Now, that's all I got on his background, as per usual.
Seems to be a trend lately.
But I am going to say, if you are listening to this on, I think anything other than Apple Podcasts, because I think Apple Podcasts is the only one that doesn't show the pictures. The boy that you're looking at, tell me that he does not look like just like the softest, kindest hearted person. It's really sad because I literally looked at him and I was like, this just can't be
That's how they get you.
This just can't be it. And he very much reminds me of my son. So this was a little bit of a harder episode. It was really weird. Anyways, so here we go. So on October 9th, 2009, 35-year-old Jill Stacy Stachenko disappeared. Now, she was a mother of 6. Her body is actually found in in the gravel in British Columbia 4 days after she goes missing. She had been raped and she had died from blunt force trauma. They don't say where, just blunt force trauma, but I think blunt force trauma.
I think it's to the head. Yeah.
Now, August 31st, 2010. 23-year-old Natasha Lynn Montgomery disappears. She's a mother of 2, and her remains have actually never been found. Then on September 10th, 2010, 35-year-old Cynthia Frances Moss goes missing. She has 1 child, and her body is actually found a month later in a park. She had been raped. She suffered numerous injuries. Her jaw and cheekbone had been fractured. Her neck showed evidence of being stomped on. There was a penetrating wound in her shoulder blade. She had also received multiple blunt force trauma injuries to her head. Then on November 27th, 2010, 15-year-old Lauren Leslie was found. She had been raped. She had been bludgeoned with a heavy object. She was stabbed once in the neck. Her jaw and her nose were broken. She had defensive wounds on her hands. And she is Cody's last known victim, and her body is found off of a logging road. Okay, so those are the murders. Now, this is such a weird one because it's like I go really quickly through the background, really quickly through the murders, and then now I'm like, oh, he's going to get caught right now. This is where he gets caught, which is normally towards the end, but I promise you it's not like the end quite yet. There's a reason why I have to talk about him getting caught first.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, so if you remember what I said, November 27th, 2010, 15-year-old Lauren Leslie is found off of a logging road. November 27th, 2010, Cody's truck is seen pulling onto Highway 27 from an unused logging road. And
Weird.
He speeds past a patrol car. Now, the officer obviously thinks it's kind of sus anyways, so he's like, I'm going to pull this guy over. But he thinks, I'm going to pull this kid over and just be like, hey, slow down, right? Nothing.
What were you doing up on the mountain?
No,
doing some little grandpa's old cough medicine?
Well, it wasn't a mountain, but okay. It was a logging road, but okay.
Bro, where do you think logging roads are? They're on mountain roads.
I don't know if they are or not. They're forests, right?
What are you doing up in the forest?
Well, I don't think he cared about that. I think he was just like, why is this guy being all crazy? I think honestly, maybe there's a chance he thought maybe the guy was high or drunk or something.
That's what I just said.
Oh, well.
Sipping on Grandpa's old cough
My
medicine.
brain isn't working today. And I'm very uncomfortable where I'm sitting, so I'm struggling big time right now. So he pulls him over thinking it's going to be like a normal traffic stop. Just like your normal everyday, pull somebody over, give them a ticket or whatever. Well, when he pulls over, Cody pulls over, and he immediately notices that Cody has like a smear of blood on his face. And he also like kind of sees that there's blood on his leg, right? And so he's kind of like, what's with the blood? So he looks a little deeper and he realizes that not only does he have blood on his cheek and his leg, but there's also like a pool of blood under the mat at his feet in the truck. And they're just kind of like, okay, this is a little weird. And so they're talking to him and he's like, no, like I just killed a deer. And that's why I have like the blood. Like I just killed a deer.
Killed him inside my truck on the floor.
Well, I mean, I guess if you got close to it, maybe you had blood on you. I don't know.
But the pool of blood?
I don't know. It was under his feet. Like he had been standing in a pool of blood. I mean, he had been standing in blood and then got in his car and it was dripping off of his feet.
They're like, okay, so where's the deer?
Well, they decide they're going to look at his car because they're a little like, okay, well, I mean, I guess like obviously you could have been hunting, but this is just kind of weird. And they actually find a bloody wrench in the truck as well. And so now they're kind of like,
it's like I killed him with a wrench.
Weird. And then they're kind of looking around. They realize there's no deer at all in this truck. Not in the back, nowhere. So something just doesn't seem right with them. The officer decides to actually call for some backup because he decides we need to kind of see what's going on. So he calls for backup. They search his vehicle. Now, as they search his vehicle, they actually find a backpack. And inside, and it was like a girl's backpack. So that already kind of threw them for a loop. And it was in the door of light, like in the door pocket thing. So then they look at that and they see that there's like identification either inside. It wasn't clear if it was inside her backpack or if they found like her like ID actually, but they found the name Lauren Leslie. And they were just like, okay, well now why do you have a girl's backpack in your car? And so they decide to like arrest him and then called for extra people because now they're like, no, really something's not sitting right. So now they have a bunch of people coming and they basically decide they're going to go back to the logging road and they're going to trace the tire tracks because at this time there was snow on the ground. So they're like, we're going to actually trace these tire tracks back and see where he came from.
That logging road probably splits off into like multiple logging roads and stuff like that. So if it wasn't for the snow, it might be hard to like see where they went.
Honestly, I don't know because they follow these tire tracks back into the woods and they are looking for a deer. That is literally what they're looking for because they're like, well, he said he killed a deer. We will let him go if we find a deer in, off this trail where he just came from. He's a free man. Well, they do track the tires and they end up tracking him to footprints. They end up seeing like footprints and they're like, okay, well, we're going to follow the footprints now. And they follow the footprints and they find the body of Lauren Leslie. Now they ask.
And hard to deny that.
Well, they ask Cody about it. And Cody's like, oh, yeah, the body. Like I found her like that. And I panicked and I left. And I also took her backpack because I touched it and I didn't want to be implicated in killing her.
And I bet you that wrench isn't going to match her blood type.
Well, and really, bro, like, hold on. You didn't even tell him about it. Like, you didn't look at him and say,
there's a body.
Hey, there's a body back there. And I was freaked out. That's why I'm driving so fast. You literally tell him.
Like, if I saw a body and I'm bailing out and I see a cop, I'm going to the cop and being like, yo.
Right.
Wasn't me.
So they end up taking his DNA and booking him into jail. And his actual DNA is linked to this crime, obviously. And they actually link it to 3 other crimes using his DNA. Now, it's also discovered as they're doing their investigation that Cody and Lauren had been talking to each other through the Nexopia app, the social media app. And they had exchanged phone numbers. And then they had been texting back and forth right up until the murder. Now, they also search Cody's apartment and they find DNA evidence from the other 3 victims in his apartment. Now, they find blood.
Now, was she the youngest one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They find blood on a couch, which was a match to Jill Stuchenko. They found a picaroon, which, do you know what a picaroon is?
Nope.
It's an axe tool that's used for logging.
Okay.
And this had DNA from Cynthia Moss on it. And then they also found an axe, and this had DNA evidence from Natasha Montgomery on it. So they found all that. By the way, remember, he shares his apartment with 3 other girls. So let's not forget that.
And they have no clue.
They had no clue. He lived in the basement of their apartment, and they didn't go down there all the time, I guess. And I think these things happened when they weren't around.
That'd be my guess. And starting to, my investigative brain's going and being like, did these girls deny him? And that's why he went out and found people that look like its roommates
Oh, I
to
can't
kill.
answer that because
I
he
don't know.
doesn't say that. So on June 2nd, 2014, his trial starts. And he's actually 24 years old at the time of the trial. And he pleads not guilty to all 4 counts of murder. Now, all 3 of his roommates testified against him. One of them said that she actually had returned home from visiting her family and went down to his room in the basement to go talk to him. And she noticed that there was a blood stain on the couch and on the carpet. And she said, like, oh my God, what happened? And he's like, oh man, I got really high, fell asleep on the couch and got a nosebleed. Okay, when I tell you,
It's quick thinking.
no fucking way would I have believed that. I saw pictures of the couch. This blood stain is like this fucking big.
Hey, he could have been passed out for a while.
Absolutely not. And it goes up the back of the couch. It's not like what are you
I
talking
roll
about?
around a lot when I sleep.
There is not any fucking way that I would ever believe that was from a nosebleed.
And the girl was like, okay.
She probably was scared. She's probably like, okay, yeah, okay. Now, Cody himself actually also takes the stand. And he continues to claim that he did not kill Lauren and that the other 3 women he had been present for their murders, but he did not kill them. Claims that drug dealers killed the other 3 women, which, by the way, Cody did use cocaine, marijuana, ecstasy, and mushrooms. So he did, drug dealers could have been. However, when he's asked to identify who these drug dealers are, because he's telling them,
Don't know.
3 different people murdered these 3 different women at 3 different times. He's claiming that each drug dealer had actively been in his home when these women came over to his house and they killed him because they had drug debts. This is what he tells them. Now they say, okay, well then if you know this, who are these people? And he's like, I will not tell. I will just call them X, Y, and Z.
I mean, you ain't going to narc out your drug lord.
Like, what the fuck? He also said that all he did was witness the murders and then he cleaned up and disposed of 2 of the bodies. So this is his story. So on September 2nd, 2014, at this point, they're still doing the trial and Cody actually goes to his lawyers and they say, let's just have you plead guilty to 2nd-degree murder instead of 1st-degree murder. Let's get a plea deal on the table because this is not looking so good for you.
Plea deals are bullshit.
So he does. So he's like, okay, I'm going to plead guilty to 2nd-degree murder. I'll get a lesser sentence, yada, yada. And this plea deal, the attempted guilty plea actually happened right at the same time that they were supposed to be giving their closing arguments for the trial. So instead of giving the closing arguments, his lawyers were like, please hold. We would like to submit a guilty plea. Just forget the whole fucking thing that we just spent like 3 months on. Like, he'd like to plead guilty. To which the prosecutor and the judge were like, no. No. So the prosecutor was like, absolutely not. And the judge actually blocks it and says, no, you cannot plead guilty.
Good.
Which I'm kind of like, that's kind of cool. So on September 11th, 2014, the jury finds Cody guilty on all 4 counts of 1st-degree murder. And he is sentenced to life in prison with the ability for parole after 25 years. And the prosecution asked that he has to go on the National Sex Offender Registry. Now, the Supreme Court Justice did say that he lacks any shred of empathy or remorse, and he should never be allowed to walk among us again.
So they put him on the registry, but what's he?
He raped them, all of them. That's how they're.
So they found the bodies
of 3 of them.
Okay.
One woman, they've never found her body, which I think it's crazy that he was able to be charged with her murder when her body has never been found. The only thing they have linking him to her is her DNA in his apartment. But the fact that they have no body and they found
I mean, they're
guilty,
like,
that's it.
look, 3 of them, we got bodies. You did it.
Yeah,
Pretty sure you did the fourth
at the
one.
very least,
And he's not giving up locations. They found them.
he's not giving up shit.
Right.
So in February of 2015, so this is like 6 months after he's found guilty, he actually files an appeal due to issues with his legal representation throughout the trial. And he was trying to say that he didn't have proper legal, whatever. And this was dismissed and his original sentence is upheld. So that's where it's at right now. I swear to God, these episodes are getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
No, this one's definitely a short one, but I think,
I mean, I have some shots, but
well, a couple things. What's crazy is not having a ton of information on him just because.
But like the reason there isn't is because he was just a normal ass kid.
Right. But with how new, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think there'd be a lot more, but it seems like it's harder on the newer cases because
Nobody studies them.
And they usually don't get away with it for too long.
Well, and again, like I said, it's one of those things that what are you supposed to say about this kid? He had a loving family. He was popular in high school. He wasn't like secluded. He didn't do all the things that, the precursor signs of a serial killer. He didn't do any of those things.
And he's not saying why he did it.
He's not saying why he did it. Nothing. And
did you see the girls? Did they look similar?
No. And they're all different ages. So it's like there is no rhyme or reason really. Well, maybe. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, no. Nothing that he ever, he never says what his reason for it was. But like I said, if you look at his picture, it's like, what happened, guy? Like, your family loved you. And I'm sure his family was in absolute fucking shock. Because again, he was like a normal kid. So there's nothing to say about his background because his background didn't do this.
And I know we don't like to blame it on it because I don't agree with it. But with all the drugs he was doing.
There is that. There very well could be some drug thing, but still, to be somebody who does drugs and then kill 4 people at 4 different times, to me, you were born bad.
I mean, I seen coconut berry.
What?
I've seen cocaine bear, and that bear killed a lot of people.
Coconut bear.
I was thinking coconut bear, like, oh, he's so soft.
Well, I do have some shots. Do you want them?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so first of all, Cody is actually considered one of Canada's youngest serial killers. The only other one so far that I have been able to find is 17-year-old Peter Woodcock. Mind your fucking business. Mind your business. He is actually the only one younger than Cody.
Well, did they say why the 17-year-old murdered people?
No, I didn't look into it. I actually thought about using him as one of our serial killers because I don't think he's in my serial killer book, and he was 17 as a serial killer, which is fucking crazy.
It's something to learn about.
Also, in a second interview that he had, like with the cops, he actually brought his girlfriend with him. So he had a girlfriend, Cody did, and his girlfriend came with him. And during this interview, he actually admitted to hitting Lauren with the wrench, but he said that he didn't kill her. He said, I did hit her, but I didn't kill her. And he said they had met up to have sex, which also, by the way, Cody was, again, like in his 20s.
Yeah, 24.
So why are you meeting up with a 15-year-old girl, first of all? But he said they met up, they had sex, and after, she went psycho, and she started hitting herself with the wrench, okay? And...
So then he hit her with the wrench to stop her.
No, hold on. And then she stabbed herself, too. All because they had sex.
With the wrench?
He hit her with the wrench to help like end her misery because she died. According to him, she died from all of her wounds were self-inflicted, but one time he hit her.
Oh man, what a nice guy.
So that's what he said. Which I'm like, what the? First of all, if you're stabbing yourself, you're definitely not stabbing yourself in the neck.
No.
You're not doing it. And you're not hitting yourself in the head with a wrench. You might punch yourself in the face or, smack yourself in the head if you're pissed off that you just had sex with somebody that you didn't want to. But you're not hitting yourself with enough fucking force to kill yourself with a wrench. Okay? You're just not doing that. Now, there were more than 32 swabs of blood taken from his apartment. which is kind of weird because he shared his apartment with 3 other females. So like, ma'ams, are we just really dirty? Or like, why are we not caring about all the blood that you're seeing in this man's basement apartment?
Maybe they didn't go down there very often.
I have a feeling they didn't. I have a feeling that he was just because he lived in the basement. So I have a feeling he was like, oh, I need a place to live. And these girls are like, oh, we have a basement if you want to rent it. So it helped them. They kind of steered clear of each other. And then when they, like, I don't know. Anyways, there were more than 4,000 people contacted during this case. There ended up being 195 police witnesses and 95,000 pages of evidence.
That's crazy.
That's like insane to me.
And it makes you wonder, with all that blood, is there more than 4?
Oh, I know. I definitely think I would not be shocked if there was a more, but you'll never know because he ain't saying shit. Now, unfortunately, don't you love when I say that?
I look forward to it.
Unfortunately, there is a clause that's called faint hope clause. Now, this clause is in the Canadian laws, and this would actually allow Cody to apply for parole after serving 15 years. Now, this clause was actually repealed in 2011, but Cody's crime happened before this, so there is a chance that he can appeal and he can get parole in 2029.
That's if they grant him parole, though.
But the fact that he even has the potential pisses me off. Now, there was also some outrage in 2019 because Cody, I don't fucking understand this. Cody was transferred from a maximum security prison where he fucking belongs because he is a serial killer to a medium security prison. And they only notified 2 of the 4 families, which is fucking trash.
And did they happen to say why?
Nope. No info, because they don't fucking have to tell you why they do shit. But that right there gives me little to no hope that he won't get paroled early. That gives me 0 hope that he won't get paroled early.
Yeah, like is he given good behavior? And they're like,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yep,
okay,
like,
we'll move you.
Well, because 1, they're going to take into account his age, because they always fucking do. They're going to take into account his age. And
He's so young.
And then
his Dulungalum Blada isn't
like
whatever it's called.
Frontal lobe.
Yeah, and I even said that other word wrong.
Thank God you're not a brain doctor.
Yeah.
We'd have problems.
Yeah, I've been watching House. I'm getting smarter.
But, I mean, it makes me angry, and I have no faith that he won't get out early because they're going to take into account his age. He's already gone from a maximum security to a medium security prison, which is fucking crazy for a serial killer to be a murderer to be put in a medium security prison. And then to not tell the families, that's garbage. And so now you also wonder, like, if he does get out, are they going to fucking tell the families like they're supposed to? Probably not.
I would say no. Probably not.
So I have no idea what's going to happen. But basically, this man could potentially get out in 4 years. And that's pretty unfortunate because, again, he doesn't have a good reason. There is not a solid reason as to why he did what he did. He won't talk about it. He won't say anything about it. And
well, that's because he's protecting XYZ.
Well, sure.
Taking one for the team.
Sure, I guess, but I don't know. I just this whole case really bothered me. And like I said, when you look at him, it hurts your heart because he just looks like, he does. He reminds me of our son. But just in like like his facial features, not anything else.
He's a big baby face boy.
He is. And so it's sad because you look at it and you're like, man, like I could genuinely have seen our son being friends with this kid. I could have genuinely seen this kid coming to our house for football parties and, doing all the things, just normal kid. And so it's like, there's something else in his brain. And those are the ones you want to keep off the street.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's an interesting story, to say the least, of our Canadian folk up north.
I know. I don't know. I wasn't really happy with this one because, one, like I said, it wasn't like a crazy amount of information. There was enough for us to get a small episode, which sometimes the short episodes are fine. But I wish there was more. I wish we had more answers. I wish I knew why. If I could just know what his reason was, why did he do this? I'd be okay with it.
Well, and
I
we
just
try
wanna
to
know.
stay true to the flipping open to the book. This is why you'll get some of these that are shorter than others, because
Yeah.
she'll do the research, but we're gonna bring it to you. So we're gonna hit every name in the book eventually. We don't want to just hold it off to the ones we have a ton of information on. So some of these might be short. We'll make it up for you on the longer ones. We'll hit you with some long ones. But, honestly, if I had to listen to
I mean,
my voice for more than a half an hour, I'd probably turn it off. So
whatever.
Kermit the Frog here.
That's not how you sound.
Anyways, so again, back to the beginning. We're extremely grateful. Share us, talk about us, tell people about us.
Keep following us.
Keep
And if you're
following us.
listening to us on some sort of a podcast platform, if you have not, please make sure you click the follow button, because what that will do is it'll give you a notification every time we post a new episode, which of course is always on Thursdays at midnight. So midnight.
Pacific Standard Time.
No, it's midnight Eastern.
Eastern
I think
Standard
it's
Time.
Eastern Standard Time, because that's who our podcast hosting is Eastern Standard Time. So it'd be like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock here, or our time. But I mean, it'll pop up on your phone and let you know that, oh, hey, there's a new episode. And if you're following us, when you open your app, it'll show you that we have a new episode posted. So you'll never miss one.
And if you've been following us since near the beginning or the beginning, send us a message. Let us know. We'd love to hear from the people that have been listening the whole time. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, how we can be better, what you would like to hear. We're always listening, just like you guys.
We appreciate the love.
Yeah. And with that,
I think this is the part where I'm going to say, hopefully next week I'm not as sick. Goodbye.
and I'll keep it real with bye-bye.